So, and this bolsters our theory, of course with all due respect to the opposing side, na kaya namin tinatawag o kaya namin natawag na phishing expedition ito. Kasi lahat na ng records hiningi, pero hindi naman matukoy, which would actually be relevant, which would actually be evidentiary to the accusations they have made under the articles of impeachment. Pero dito, hinihingi natin 20 years worth of records. And then paano po yun? Hihimayin natin, maghahanap tayo ngayon kung may relevant o wala. Which brings me back to yung BIR records. Nakaseal po yung box. So I would say, both parties, hindi natin alam kung anong nasa loob nun. Yet, we're hoping na somehow, pag nabuksan yung box na yun, meron po tayong makikitang ebidensya. And that's why, again, with all due respect, we called it a phishing expedition.
First day pa rin ho tayo sa third week ng impeachment trial ni VP Sara dyan sa Senado. Siyempre, ang ika nga muling magtutuos dito si Atty. Michael Poe at itong si Bugs Bunny. Pero bago yan, isang like at isang subscribe. Masaya na ho tayo dyan at sa mga gusto sumali sa ating community. Yung join button, nandiyan lang ho sa baba. Unahin na ho muna natin itong pagtayo na to ni Joel Villanueva. Tapos umpisa na ho sagutan nitong si Atty. Poe at itong si Bugs Bunny.
Maraming salamat po sa inyong tugon, Representative Jokno. Kaya po, nilahad ko po yan nang sa ganoon, maitanong po natin ang defense panel if that distinction is correct. Would the defense still maintain that the mere issuance of a subpoena is by itself already prejudicial to the respondent even before the court has ruled on admissibility or weight?
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Honorable Senator Judges. Yes, while we agree with the position of the prosecution na hindi pa naman pinag-uusapan ang admissibility sa puntong ito, what we are questioning is really yung subpoena mismo po. Dahil sa ating pananaw, ang isang subpoena, at hindi lang sa ating pananaw, but even under jurisprudence, meron pong requirements bago tayo makapag-issue ng subpoena para maging valid yung subpoena na yun. At yun po yung napag-usapan natin nung nakarang linggo na definiteness and relevance. Ngayon, yung twin requirements na yun para po sa pananaw ng depensa ay lacking in this case. And that is why we maintain our position as regards opposing itong request ng prosecution sa pag-issue ng subpoena.
Well, at least malinaw po, ang pag-issue ng subpoena, not necessarily opening of records, una. Pangalawa, to be presented in court. At pangatlo, to be admitted as evidence by this court. Before I go dun sa requirement, let me ask the panel of prosecutors, si Representative Jokno, dun po sa pananaw ng depensa on alleged phishing expedition, just for the guidance of Senator Judges, this representation would like to clarify one procedural matter. We understand that the concern raised by the
Sen, hinahinay ka, baka bigla kang pakulong, ha? Hinahinay ka sa mga tanong mo.
defense that the subpoena may be overly broad. And at the same time, we also recognize that the court has a duty naman to determine whether the records being sought are sufficiently relevant and material to the issues before us. So, Representative Jokno, maaari po ba ninyong ipaliwanag kung paano ninyo tiniyak na ang hinihinging mga records ay hindi po simpleng paghahanap lamang ng posibleng ebidensya o tinatawag na phishing expedition, kundi ito po ay mga partikular na dokumento na sa tingin po ninyo ay meron pong malinaw at direktang kaugnayan dito po sa mga articles of impeachment?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ang hinihiling po namin sa mga subpoena ay kaugnay sa Article 2, which involves charges of unexplained wealth. Kung titingnan po natin yung mga jurisprudence pagdating sa unexplained wealth, klarong-klaro po na sinabi mismo ng Korte Suprema na kailangan makita yung buong larawan, hindi lamang po ng mga salin na final ng isang lingkod bayan, kung hindi lahat ng kanyang kinita, both what we would call lawful and if there is, illegitimate income. Ang salin po kasi ay parang snapshot lang po yan, year-end, kung ano yung mga assets, liabilities, and net worth ng isang government official.
Naku, dapat huwata itong si Ping Lacson, silipin na ho natin yung kanyang, ang kanyang BIR box. Kasi nakakabilib eh. From 58 million, 85 ba 50? Nakakalimutan ko. 58 ba, 85 ba? O 58 million, naging 244.9 million. O sapat na ba yung dahilan para silipin natin ang BIR box nitong si Ping Lacson?
Ang ITR din po ay parang short video lang po yan ng mga transaksyon ng isang taxpayer sa kabuuan ng taon na yon. Makikita lang po natin yung buong larawan pag
Gumamit pa talaga ng ika nga maiintindihan ng lahat. Short video. Short.
labas natin ang mga bank records.
Reset tayo,
Kasi
reset.
doon po, yung day-to-day na lumabas at pumasok sa isang account ay mabubuo po natin. And in fact, in the case of DOF Rips versus Merencilia, ito lang pong portion ang babasahin ko. Sabing ganun ng Supreme Court, the failure of the complainant to take into consideration respondent Rafael's net worth from the time he entered government service and the failure to take into consideration all of his possible sources of income in relation to his real and personal properties do not support the conclusion that he has unexplained wealth, considering that his true net worth was not determined. Ito po ay, sabi ng Supreme Court, Ombudsman, hindi nyo nagawa yung inyong trabaho. Kaya ayaw po namin tumulad sa nangyari kay Ombudsman dito sa kasong ito. We want to see the entire picture. Kaya po namin hinihingi yung BIR records, pati yung mga bank records, and even the Anti-Money Laundering Council records para makita po natin yung buong story as far as both the assets, liabilities, and net worth are concerned, and the lawful and if there is unlawful income acquired by the respondent.
Last question no, sa prosecution. No? Sir, binanggit po kanina nung defense panel yung requirements which is, should be relevant and specific. And kinikilala po natin dito sa korte na yung subpoena is an important tool na available po dito sa impeachment court in the search for truth. Pero kinikilala din po natin na ang mga records na ating hinihingi ay may tinatawag na statutory protection under our laws. Now in this regard, Your Honor, bago po ninyo hingiling ang compulsory production ng mga confidential records na ito, may we know what led the prosecution to conclude that the issuance of subpoena is the least intrusive and most appropriate means of obtaining the information na sought. In other words, Your Honor, paano po ninyo masasabi na itong subpoena is not only relevant but also necessary and proportionate under these circumstances?
Ang subpoena po ang tanging paraan para makuha ng itong hukuman ang mga kinakailangan po natin na datos at informasyon at dokumento. At hindi naman po siya intrusive dahil tulad na nabanggit ko po kanina, ay hindi pa naman ito question ng admissibility. Ang kailangan lang ay ma-produce sa korte yung mga dokumentong hinihingi.
Tapos pagka hindi binuksan, mag-walkout kayo. Oh. Gagayahin yung nangyari kay Erap. Oh.
The issue of admissibility will come later and
Yun na nga problema kasi doon pa nga lang sa pagpapasupina, may problema na. Ito naman si Joker, tumanda ka na lang, ang hirap mo pa rin kausap. Pero gano'n, no? Kung kailan dumatanda, lalo humihirap kausap ang bida.
defense will have sufficient opportunity to object and to oppose. Ngayon po, as far as the particular records that we are requesting are concerned, ito ay nakabatay nga sa nabanggit ko pong desisyon ng Supreme Court na pag tinitingnan natin ang issue ng unexplained wealth, hindi lang po pwedeng snapshot ang titingnan natin. Kailangan mula sa unang araw ng paglingkod ng isang lingkod bayan, yung kanyang final na salin, lahat ng mga kinita niya ay makita natin. And that will be shown both by the bank records that we are requesting to be produced as well as the BIR and tax records that we are requesting.
Thank you very much. Depensa po, binanggit niyo po kanina yung relevance and if I recall it right last week, the good gentleman, Attorney Powa, made mention about the questions on confidentiality, sir, no? And this representation would like to better understand the legal basis of the defense position on confidentiality. We recognize that the law places a premium on protecting confidential information. And at the same time, we are also dealing with a request made in the course of a constitutional proceeding before this impeachment court. At bilang mga senator judges, it's our constitutional duty to try and decide on impeachment cases. Mr. Defense Counsel, yung Section 8-A of the Anti-Money Laundering Act, binanggit niyo po ito last time, which prohibits the disclosure of confidential information. How should this apply to records sought through a subpoena issued by the impeachment court? Because as I read, Your Honor, Section 8-A, it imposes confidentiality, but it does not expressly create an absolute privilege against the subpoena. There is a distinction between an authorized disclosure and production pursuant to a lawful order of a constitutional body. So, again, my question, Your Honor, where exactly in Section 8A does it say that AMLC may refuse a lawful subpoena from this court, Your Honor?
Thank you for that question, Your Honor. Unang-una, sagutin ko lang po yung pretense ng inyong tanong. No? Sabi niyo, this is a constitutional body, hindi po ba? And as we all know, there is an old legal maxim that the spring cannot rise over the source. No? Ibig sabihin po nun, while the impeachment court is a constitutional creation, it cannot
Magaling ho talaga itong Senator. Narinig ko yung ano yun, yung legal maxim yan kay Senator Marcoleta.
go up over and above the Constitution itself. And when we talk about the impeachment court under Article 11, we cannot read that in isolation. We have to also give due regard for all other provisions of the Constitution, specifically the Bill of Rights, kung saan due process ay isang bagay na nakatatakpo doon at pinapakita doon, ano bang ibig sabihin ng due process? Due process is, kasama po sa kalakip ng due process, ay ang bawat na nasasakdal ay meron ding pribilehiyo na maging maprotect o maproteksyonan ng mga batas na isinagawa ng mismong Kongreso. So now let's go on to Section 8A. No? As you can see, Your Honor, that is at least for our position, it's an absolute prohibition. Unlike other laws where they created, for example, in the Bank Secrecy Law, meron nakasulat doon, aaminin natin, in cases of impeachment, it's an exception. Pagdating po dyan, wala pong isang exception. It could have been easy, especially since this is a 2021 amendment. No? It could have been easy for Congress to have cited impeachment as an exception if it did actually wish to do so. But it did not, Your Honor. And it is our position that if we were to compel and issue a subpoena against these AMLAC records, we're actually compelling the officials to violate this very section of the law. And that is why we are saying na pagdating sa 8A, absolute po yan. It does not say that there's any exception if any court processes are actually issued to compel the production of these documents.
Points tayo sa defense. Si Bugs Bunny wala pa siyang wala siyang points na nakukuha sa atin.
Precisely because ang nasa loob po kasi ng mga records ng AMLAC are intelligence. No? And that's why it's confidential. And once AMLAC determines that they find out that certain transactions are subject to money laundering or should be actually filed in court, the end result is the complaint itself and not the raw data. And that is why, Your Honors, as to the raw data or the information that they receive, yan po ay strictly confidential under 8A.
Thank you for that. Again, I would like to put on record that I was trying to look at that particular section 8A, and I don't see anything that says this court would not have any prerogative as to whether or not we can subpoena bank records. But let me move forward. Perhaps this could be my last question, Your Honor, Mr. Presiding Officer. The Constitution recognizes two equally important principles: confidentiality on one hand, and the freedom of information, which promotes transparency and public accountability on the other. So, Attorney Powa, gusto ko lang pong malinawan for the benefit of this representation and our dear colleagues here, being senator judges, may legal distinction po ba between disclosure of information to the general public and the limited production of records solely to this impeachment court in the exercise of its constitutional function? Because we understand that the principle of freedom of information is rooted in transparency and public accountability, especially po when the conduct of a public officer is under constitutional scrutiny. Now, if confidentiality is the concern, would you agree, Attorney Powa, that this impeachment court can impose safeguards on the use and disclosure of the records? Kung maaari naman po na magpatupad ang impeachment court ng sapat po na safeguards upang mapanatili ang confidentiality ng mga records, bakit po dapat maging hadlang ang confidentiality sa isang impeachment court upang suriin ang mga impormasyon na maaari nga pong may kinalaman sa mga isyong nararapat nitong resolbahin bilang isang impeachment court?
Para sa atin po, kung ano man pong hakbang ang pwede o hindi pwedeng gawin ng isang impeachment court tulad ng nasa harap natin na ngayon, it must be confined to the limits imposed by the Constitution and the laws. So kahit sabihin po natin, we are not against transparency. I just want to make that clear, Your Honors. We are not against accountability. But again, as I've mentioned last week, hindi naman porket po that we are all looking for accountability and transparency, isasantabi na lang po natin kung ano ang mga karapatan,
Yan.
hindi lang para sa impeachable officer, pero para kahit sinong Pilipino na nakasaad sa batas, including absolute confidentiality in terms of AMLAC reports, which you are pointing to. So para po sa atin, nakikita ko yung punto po ng ating hukom, na paano kung mag-impose na lang tayo ng certain conditions. However, Your Honors, those certain conditions may be allowed for other records, pero pagdating sa AMLAC po, absolute po kasi yung prohibition. And if we were to amend or at least suspend the provision of 8A, then it is as if this honorable court is actually doing some sort of judicial legislation, no? Because we are technically suspending this law for a specific person na hindi natin pwedeng gawin sa iba. That is why, ang sa akin lang po, ang sa amin sa punto ng depensa is, paano po yun? Meron po bang instances na papayagan na lang natin, isang tabi natin yung batas, at merong instances na hindi? I think, Your Honors, we feel, the defense feels, Your Honors, that in the search for truth, transparency, accountability, we must still work within a framework, which means that we must work within the limits imposed by the Constitution, the laws, and the rules of the land. Yun lang po, Your Honors.
Salamat po, Attorney. Mr. Presiding Officer, just a few seconds, just to put on record, ang Senado po ay nasa plenaryo na po yung proposed Bright Act natin na maraming sumuportang mga kasamahan natin. And ito kasama po dito yung amendments to AMLA to put in black and white the circumstances under which bank records, financial transactions may be lawfully accessed by competent authorities, subject always, of course, Mr. President, to appropriate safeguards and due process. So gusto ko lang pong banggitin that indeed, confidentiality is an important legal protection, pero hindi din po ito dapat maging dahilan naman para manatiling mailap po ang pananagutan. Ang mabuting batas ay kayang pangalagaan ang privacy nang hindi po nasasakripisyo ang accountability. Our laws must be able to protect both, Mr. President, Mr. Presiding Officer. Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo. Maraming salamat po, our counsel.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Senator Judge Villanueva. Your remarks and responses thereto are duly noted and entered into the records. Senator Judge Pia Cayetano is next, I believe.
Ako, ito na si
You
Ate
may proceed
Pia.
namin, you're ready.
Si Ate Pia. Watching pa nga. Si Ate Pia.
I'm ready to proceed, Mr. Presiding Officer. I'd like to start this discussion with a question that hopefully will allow our kababayans who are watching, listening, to understand the situation. Of course, I pose it also to the parties. If the government had in mind that there's a business, and of course, a particular businessman or businesswoman who is violating a lot of laws pertaining to the operation of their business, be it customs law, BIR, regulations, can they just proceed and pwede ba silang basta na lang mag-request ng dokumento o mag-file ng kaso na requiring the businessman and the corporation to produce those documents? Pwede ba? So yun ang pag-isipan natin, no? Kasi yun ang tanong eh. Similarly, ginagawa ko lang ng ibang analogy para maintindihan ng mga kababayan natin. So this is the essence, dear colleagues, parties, of the principle of due process. This is ingrained in our Constitution. Totoo po na may karapatan ang gobyerno at obligasyon ng gobyernong patakbuhin ng maayos ang gobyerno, but it is always with due respect to the rights of every individual Filipino. That is the right to life, liberty, and property. So bago mo sagasaan yung right to life, liberty, and property, siguraduhin mo lang na may basihan ka. Yun lang naman ang sabi. So of course ako, gusto ko talaga na maayos ang patakbo ng gobyerno para if somebody's life is also in danger, then government has to step up and prevent somebody's liberty. Kasi nga, sinasagasaan niya yung life and liberty ng ibang tao. So it's a balance. No? I think we can all agree it's a balance. So I want to go straight into a landmark case and I will ask both parties for their legal opinions on it kasi it is a legal proceeding. Pero gawin nyo lang simple para hindi masyado complicated para sa mga nakikinig sa atin. So in the landmark case of Stonehill versus Diokno, 1967 pa po to, karamihan ng mga lawyers hindi pa pinapanganak. The importance of due process was highlighted and the Supreme Court discussed 2 points. General warrants are void. Sabi ng Supreme Court, a warrant must be issued on probable cause for one specific offense and must particularly describe the thing being seized. So kailangan particular ang description dun sa warrant. Warrants that leave it to the discretion of the officer serving them to decide what to seize or general warrants are outlawed by the Constitution because they place the sanctity of the home and privacy at the mercy of prosecutors. So sinabi dito na kailangan specific. Take note warrant ito ha. So naman ang pinag-uusapan natin. Alam ko po yun. Pero I'm pointing it out kasi ang magiging tanong ko later on is kung relevant ito sa kaso. Okay? The other principle that was established in Stonehill versus Diokno was the exclusionary rule. Evidence obtained through an unconstitutional search is inadmissible for any purpose in any proceeding. Ito po yung tinatawag na the fruit of the poison tree. Pag nakuha mo yung information dun sa bawal na paraan, kung ano yung information mo, bawal ipakita yon. And this is where I need to get guidance from the presiding officer. If I'm allowed, I don't have to name names, to share the discussion that we had in caucus, para lang mabanggit ko na ito yung mga provisions of law na napag-usapan. Am I allowed to do that? Would you like me to approach you? Please let me know, because I will abide. Basically, because ang nangyari is we had our own discussion and I want to mention the provisions of law that we discussed. I don't have to mention names.
The lady may proceed.
Okay, thank you. So, tungkol dito sa exclusionary rule, ulitin ko, fruits of the poison tree, dun nga sa aming very open discussion, and I thank many of our colleagues who were I think we engaged in a fruitful discussion for some, not for all. I think yung iba talagang gustong makipag-debate. At di-debate kasi gusto ko rin matuto, no? I think all of you will attest na I also wanted to learn from all of you kung anong perceptions nyo sa batas, kung ano din yung sinasabi ng mga abogado nyo. So, dun sa fruits of the poison tree, sabi ko, kung yung pinanggalingan ng mga dokumento, bawal, nakunin ng basta-basta, then paano mo gagamitin? And meron kasing observation na lumabas na kasi yung documents na yon sa House. So nakita na ng publiko sa House. So sabi ko, pero if I will look at, and this is where I will pose the question to all of you, no? Medyo layered so pasensya na sa medyo complicated. Yung isang concern ng defense na nabasa ko is that hindi nag-allege ng ultimate facts. Hindi klaro kung ano yung naging kasalanan at hindi na-identify ng maayos itong facts na to that lead to a conclusion of law. So wala daw yun. Later on, I will ask both parties again to also clarify that. But the point is, kung walang basihan yung paglabas ng ebidensya na yon, it is the fruit of the poison tree, then you cannot use it. So yun yung importante dito kasi I'm sure nakita nyo na sa korte kahit sabihin nyo pong sa mga legal drama na na-throw out, the case is thrown out because na-violate ang due process. So that's the discussion I want to have. I want to hear both ha. Wala akong kinikilingan dito. I'm just explaining na yun yung argument ng defense na walang due process, kulang at why prosecution would you say na nasusunod yung due process. And before I give the floor to the parties, yung sinabi kong kaso na Stonehill versus Diokno, very interestingly, involves the esteemed father of our colleague, Congressman Prosecutor Chel Diokno. In the case of Stonehill versus Diokno, the father of Congressman Diokno was the Secretary of Justice. And in this case, the government, through the Secretary and other prosecutors, suspected that Harry Stonehill and his associates and several corporations that they controlled were violating central bank laws, tariff and customs laws, Internal Revenue Code, and the Revised Penal Code. So nag-request sila ng issuance of search warrant. At ang gusto nilang tingnan is books of accounts, financial records, vouchers, receipts, ledgers, etc., and other documents showing all the business transactions. Stonehill and the other petitioners filed a petition before the Supreme Court arguing that the search warrants were general warrants because they did not particularly describe the things to be seized. So, general pa pala yun. Books of accounts, financial records, receipts. General pa pala yun. And the Supreme Court ruled that indeed, general warrants are void. Warrants must be based on probable cause. Nasabi ko na yun, ano? And then the case also adopted the exclusionary rule holding that evidence seized under an unconstitutional warrant is inadmissible. So, I now pose my questions.
Nakakatawa noon pa lang ho pala talaga itong mga Diokno na to, mahilig na sa ganitong mga gawain. Di ba? Pati yung mga dokumento na ika nga hindi pwedeng basta-basta kuhanin ng ganun-ganun na lang. Yung pala panahon ni tatay ni Jokno, lolo niya, hindi ko alam. Basta Jokno siguro, ganyan talaga utak nitong mga to, pambihira. Oh.
Applicable po ba ang kaso na ito, Hill versus Jokno, as far as the prosecution is concerned, and then also for the defense, applicable? Take note, I've read most of the pleadings, well, all of the pleadings, mahahaba sila. I kinda know your answer, but sa dami, I like to hear it again, and I think, of course, karamihan ng kababayan natin did not read it. So explain natin sa kanila, because this is a landmark case. Kung ikaw ay law student na magbabar, ito yung mga kasong titingnan mo. So malay mo, matanong yan sa bar. So nakatulong man lang tayo dun sa mga bar students na maliwanagan sila. Baka mamaya trick question to. Is it applicable or not? That is my question. I will sit down, and then I will come back for my next. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. If I may be recognized.
The member of the panel of prosecutors may proceed to give his answer. Thereafter, the counsel for respondent may do so as well.
Iba po ang konteksto ng search warrant na naging main issue sa Stonehill versus Jokno. Sa konteksto po natin, nasa PINA ang pinag-usapan. Ang search warrant po, ang governing law po dyan ay nasa Bill of Rights natin, Article 3, Section 3. At kaya siya nandun dahil very invasive po ang search warrant. Pag ang isang judge ay nag-issue ng search warrant, pwedeng pasukin yung opisina o yung bahay ng person involved, pwedeng halongkatin yung lahat ng mga gamit niya doon sa kanyang opisina o sa kanyang bahay. Kaya po naglagay ng maraming limitasyon ang ating konstitusyon dahil marami ng pang-aabuso, marami ng mga halimbawa ng pang-aabuso na nangyari kahit noon pa. Iba po ang pinag-uusapan natin ngayon. Ang pinag-uusapan natin ngayon ay subpoena. Hindi po ito license to enter an office or to search any place. Ito po ay mismong humihiling lang ng mga dokumentong nakasulat sa loob ng subpoena. Therefore, the contexts are very different. When we speak of a search warrant, I do agree there should be very specific limitations on how that warrant can be enforced. Pagdating naman po sa subpoena, meron din po yan, but that is not governed by the Constitution. It's governed by Rule 21 of the Rules of Civil Procedure, which basically provide that for a subpoena to be valid, it must be relevant and it must be definite. Ibig po sa relevance ay may kinalaman o may kaugnayan yan sa mga kailangan patunayan ng mga facts. At pagdating naman sa definiteness ay klaro kung anong mga iba't ibang dokumento ang hinihingi. In our case, we respectfully submit, Your Honors, that we have met both the standards of relevance and materiality. The BIR records, the bank records, and the records of the Anti-Money Laundering Council are relevant to the facts in issue pertaining to the charges of unexplained wealth. Hindi po natin malalaman kung talagang merong unexplained wealth ang Vice President kung hindi natin mabubuksan yung kanyang mga bank records, kung hindi rin natin makikita at may lalatag ang Anti-Money Laundering at BIR records.
Malabo nga kasi yun. Una sa lahat, fishing expedition na kasi kagad, pagka nangyari na, ano nga pala, paano natin malalaman kung hindi bubukod? Paano kayo nagkakaso in the first place kung hindi nyo pa pala nakita yung mga dokumento na yun? Hindi, ito layman lang ha, hindi tayo abogado, hindi tayo, kasing haba ng ngipin itong si Jokno. Paano kayo nagkakaso in the first place? Wala pa pala kayong mga dokumento, wala pala kayong ebidensya. O ibig sabihin nga, chismis lang yan, pambihira
Po nila.
nyo.
And insofar as definiteness is concerned, we have specified the particular documents that we are requesting, and we have included as well an explanation of why those are important. Kaya sa aming pananaw po ay we have satisfied the requirements for a subpoena to SESTECO. Thank you.
Mr. Presiding Officer, before we recognize the defense, just a quick follow-up question.
Hindi ko malapit eh.
Bigyan ko ng
Meron pang tagabulong itong si Jokno, pambihira naman.
time na bulungan muna siya ng kasama.
I'm sorry.
Okay na kayo? No, it's okay.
Senator Judge Pia, would you like the counsel for respondent to answer?
Not yet, Mr.
Not yet.
The
Okay.
request was if I'll just ask a follow-up question.
You may proceed,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you for that. I appreciate his honor's response. May I simply point out, and again, please give me your explanation. Tama ho yung pagkabanggit nyo na yung nature ng search warrant, very invasionary, di ba? Because it requires that pasukin yung bahay, halubugin yung gamit. Pero hindi kaya invasive din yung paghalubhog ng records? Is that not extremely parallel? I mean, is it not very similar in the sense that what is being questioned now are the very essence of somebody's savings, earnings. So, which we have to agree. I think there's no doubt that that is protected. But in fact, His Honor is saying that it would fall under the police power. So, imbis na papasukin mo sa bahay na nandun yung mga dokumento, you will do the same by asking these agencies, whether it is the BIR, the banks, or AMLA to now reveal these documents. So that's my question. Is it in the prosecution's, is it the point of view of the prosecution na iba yun? Hindi ba invasive yun? Kayo gumamit ng word na invasionary, no, but I'll use invasive, I think. Yeah, anyway, please answer and then we'll give the floor to the defense, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Counsel for the panel for prosecutors may
Thank you, Your
answer as he pleases.
Yung pong search warrant, kung ano man ang makuhang ebidensya doon, ay direktang binibigay po yun sa court, and that is now considered as evidence by the court that issued the search warrant. Iba po ang subpoena, dahil pag naglabas ang isang hukuman ng subpoena, itong mga records ay hindi po siya considered yet as evidence. Yan po ay ipoproduce lang, dadalhin lang po sa korte, and now it is up to the parties, and I refer to both parties, to decide which of those documents may be relevant in terms of the evidence that they are that they need to present. Yung pong nakikita po natin sa subpoena, it is not in any way invasive because as I mentioned earlier, as pointed out by Senator Enrile when he was the presiding officer in the Corona trial, we are simply having those documents produced. The admissibility of those documents will only be determined after if offered by the parties. Kaya po sa aming mga pananaw ay malaking-malaki ang pagkaiba ng search warrant sa subpoena.
Your Honor, maybe...
With the permission of the lady Senator Judge, counsel for respondent may now give his answer to her query. You may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Your Honors. Your Honors, ang posisyon po ng depensa dito ay subpoena and a search warrant are very much similar in that both are compulsory processes. So, yes, hindi tayo papasok sa bahay ng isang tao o ng nasasakdal, but it will be intrusive because we will be opening up all the financial transactions for, sabi nga dito, almost 20 years of the respondent. Kaya po, katulad ng isang search warrant, the things that we are asking for through a subpoena must be particularly described. Kanina po, nabanggit po ng aking kagalang-galang na opposing counsel na particularly described na po yung kanilang naisulat. However, the defense does not agree with that proposition because if you look at it, tama naman po. Nakasulat po dito ng hinihingi nila ay account opening and maintenance records, KYC documents, information files, signature cards, all account and transaction records, ledgers, journals. Basically, Your Honors, this is everything. Ibig sabihin, ni-specify lang nila ang nilalaman ng lahat ng bank records ng respondent. So in our view, Your Honors, while they took pains to specify each and every document, the truth of the matter is they're asking for everything. Ngayon, pagdating sa subpoena, and even in the case they cited, yung Rocco versus Contreras, no? Nakasulat po doon that for subpoena to be validly issued, when we talk about particularly describing yung kung ano yung hinihingi, it has to be evidence that is both relevant and material. So ang tanong namin, saan ba dito yung relevant or material? Kasi lahat po ng records hiningi eh. So, and this bolsters our theory, of course with all due respect to the opposing side, na kaya namin tinatawag o kaya namin natawag na fishing expedition ito. Kasi lahat na ng records hiningi, pero hindi naman matukoy, which would actually be relevant, which would actually be evident.
Palakpakan natin itong si Atty. Poa, pambihira. Ibang klase mo talaga itong si Atty. Poa.
Essentially to the accusations they have made under the articles of impeachment.
Muling namayagpag ho, palakpakan natin itong si Atty. Poa. Ibang klase, taba ng utak nito.
So, pero dito, hinihingi natin 20 years worth of records. And then, paano po yun? Ihimayin natin, maghahanap tayo ngayon kung may relevant o wala. Which brings me back to yung BIR records. Nakaseal po yung box. So, I would say, both parties, hindi natin alam kung anong nasa loob nun. Yet, we're hoping na somehow, pag nabuksan yung box na yun, meron po tayong makikitang ebidensya. And that's why, again, with all due respect, we called it a fishing expedition.
Palakpakan ho natin itong si Atty. Poa. Apakahusay.
Kasi hindi naman na-identify kung ano mismo doon yung pwedeng ebidensya laban sa sinasabing unexplained wealth umano ng Vice Presidente. So, with the question, for us, yes, the Stonehill case, Stonehill versus Diokno, directly applies to the current proceedings. Kasi nga po doon, sinasabi talaga na dapat specified yung hiningi, particularly described and relevant. But as of this point, they're asking Your Honors for all of these things. And again, while they specified each and every document, kung babasahin niyo po ng mabuti ito, they're actually asking for all bank records without, in fact, telling us which transaction is relevant to their accusation, which transaction will actually support their accusation. Yun po yung aming pananaw dito sa tanong ng ating kagalang-galang na hukom. Thank you po.
If Your Honor, please may be allowed to respond.
Hold on, counsel for the panel of prosecutors. Senator Judge Pia is the one asking the questions.
Nadala ho ito si Jokno Papira. Huwag ka magpadala, Jokno. Oh, hayaan niyo si Senator Pia Cayetano magtanong. Hindi kayo nagtatanong. Hayaan na nga mga kababayan. I-part 3 ho natin ito para una yung tanong nitong si Senator Pia Cayetano. So, Luis, maraming salamat ho sa pag-support sa PSAP. Mag-ingat ho kayo lahat. Mahal natin Pilipinas. Galing nitong si Atty. Michael po. Ibang klase, napakahusay ho talaga. Grabe.